Okay, so today's about to be wild. Um, Mom often gets seasick, so I'm the one in place with her for the catamaran. We're gonna go snorkeling, which I super love. The catamaran I'm not so fond of, but let's see. Hopefully, this one isn't so nauseating. Saved on cash and help the environment. So I just finished freshening up after a whole morning out on the catamaran with the other diamonds. Stepped in for my mom today because she doesn't do well on the sea, especially on boats like that. And it's a good thing she didn't go though, because the water was cold. So cold, and the waves got really big eventually. So it's actually kind of difficult to paddle our way back on the boat. But before that, okay, so basically what happened is we got on the boat and I met the sweetest people. I met Marty and Matt Smith, and they were just so nice, especially Marty. Became the best of friends so fast. So anyway, we're just talking and talking the whole time. Got on the boat, and then we finally got to the spot where we were supposed to snorkel. And they said like, yeah, just snorkel from this point to that point. Just don't go further into the deep because it's just far too deep there. It might be difficult for you. So anyway, I get in the water, right? Marty and I get in the water, and it's super cold. It's a lot colder than the water in the Philippines. I guess because the wind here is pretty crazy. I think that's the one biggest difference between the beaches in Hawaii versus the beaches in the Philippines. Here the wind is really, really cold. So you come out of the water and it's not hot. It is hot, but it's also really cold because of the wind. Does that make sense? Anyway, so yeah, the water is just, it's kind of freezing, but eventually you get used to it. The water here is also not as salty as the water in the Philippines. Also, I swallowed like a bunch of salt water. Wasn't so bad. I got to see a lot of fish. I got to see a parrotfish, which is my favorite fish in the world because it's a rainbow fish. If you know the book Rainbow Fish, I think it's based off a parrotfish because of the way it looks in the water. What's cool here though is that, I mean, I've gone snorkeling in the Philippines, but every time I snorkel, the fishes kind of swim away, and they're usually a lot, they're just further away from me, and if I come close, they swim away. But here, the fishes just come close to you. Like, if this is me, you're the fish. That's how close you are. Like, literally, like, this was a tilapia next to me, or a bungos, I'm not sure, like a flounder fish. It was a big fish, and it was just here swimming next to me. Yeah, and I'm gonna show the video. I just have to get it from Marty, but I saw a turtle, like a big pawikan. I don't know, I think it's a pawikan. A big turtle swimming in front of me, and I watched it swim down to the corals to find something to eat. It was insane. It was so cute. I will say this though, the water is not as clear. The water here is not as clear as the water in the Philippines. But yeah, it's still really, really good. So anyway, it ended up Marty and I didn't realize that we swam so far until like we were swimming back, and we got back on the boat, and Matt was like, "You guys swam really far." And we said, "What?" It didn't seem that far to us, and he was like, "No, you guys swam really far." I guess now it kind of makes sense because swimming back, I got like really tired, and that's the time like I was swallowing water. The current right in front of the boat got really, really strong. Like there weren't much fish there anymore, which kind of scared me because I thought maybe a shark was gonna come out or something. But I was literally maybe like 10 meters away from the boat, and it was the hardest swim of my life because the current just kept pushing me back. So it was a really good thing I was able to just cut through it. Got back on the boat, they served us lunch, and yeah, so that was the day on the catamaran. I wish I had more videos to show you, but I couldn't bring my phone in the water. I think that would have been crazy, but yeah, it was fun. And now we have the rest of the afternoon to relax, and then tomorrow we go to Kona Island to visit the Young Living Sandalwood Farm. Oh, and something I realized by being on this trip and like being on the catamaran with all these other Young Living users was that it's so nice to be surrounded by people who just get it. I mean, I love sharing about the oils, absolutely, but it's just so nice to be surrounded by people like, oh yeah, I have that in my bag too. And then other people be like, oh, does anyone have this oil? And be like, oh yeah, I have it. And people who just get how wonderful it is to be living this type of lifestyle where everything's just so natural. You don't even have to explain why the oils work because you're surrounded with people who have felt it firsthand, like how powerful essential oils really are. There's one girl, she was actually an integrative doctor, and she was saying how like, yeah, so she uses all these different modalities for healing, and essential oils is one of them. And I said, wow, to be in a world where it's just normal to be surrounded by people who are integrative doctors and who use essential oils for healing, and just wow, it's amazing. It is amazing. If you've ever been curious to see what life is like on this side where nature literally is your source of healing, then come and experience it yourself, because there's no limit to what to how far nature can heal you. Yeah, I sincerely believe that now, especially after having been on this trip.